My name is Catherine Ramsey, and I am married. I have two little kids, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I grew up at Heritage. My family's been coming here since I was really young, and we moved overseas when I was in high school. My dad was active duty Army, and so I went to high school in Bangkok. We moved back and I went to college out of state, and Pastor Steve once joked that my family is always a boomerang that ends up coming back. I married into the Navy, we moved to Japan, we moved to Italy, and here we are again. So I love that we have a church to call home and a church to come back to. As I said, I have two little kids, and that really hit me hard last year. 2019 was a rough year when we had our second daughter, and we are just in a very sleep-deprived and busy season of life. My husband and I each have 2 jobs, and we're involved at church, and we were hosting a small group, and it's just been pretty chaotic in life the past year or so. When I heard about Rooted, I was actually a little bit nervous. It was a really big time commitment, and I didn't know that I had that time to give, and I just didn't know if it would work out for us. So I was really torn about it, to be honest. My husband and I actually talked about Rooted a lot, and we prayed about it to see if it was even something that we could feasibly handle. And we really sat back, and I asked myself, like, Catherine, what are you doing to deepen your relationship with God? And I realized for myself, and we realized as a couple and as a family, that we were just on spiritual autopilot. Like, things have been so crazy and so hectic with the girls and with work and with everything going on that we weren't really doing anything to deepen our relationship with God. And anyone with little kids knows that there's a certain period of time, especially after the kid is born, where you're just in complete survival mode. And if you're not careful, you stay in survival mode. So when we thought about it, we're like, you know what, this is something that we really need to do. This is something that we feel called to do, and we really need to be intentional about our relationship with God. I went into Rooted with some preconceived notions about the people in my group. Like I said, we were the boomerangs. I always came back to this church, and I was just like, I know everyone in my group. I don't know how I'm gonna get to know them any better. I know everyone's story. But I really realized that I didn't. I don't know the ins and outs of people's lives. I don't know deep down what they're going through, what they struggle with. And it was just such a beautiful time of developing community and being there for one another and talking about things that really matter and how we can help each other and how we can support each other. So the community aspect of it was really something huge that I got out of Rooted. I also wanted to touch on evangelism, because that's something that I feel I always struggled with in my Christian walk. I was like, oh, that's for pastors and for other people to take care of. But I realized during the 10-week study how much it's my responsibility and how many opportunities I have in my daily life to evangelize and be Christ for someone else and share that love just wherever I happen to be, whether that's at work or at a mom's group or with my kids or wherever it is. And so Rooted was just such a beautiful time of realizing that I can grow in any season of life that I'm in and deepen my relationship in that season. I think that one of the biggest struggles for me going in was getting into that routine where we stayed after church and we kind of made it work. But I am so glad that we did it, because you know what? That's exactly what happened. We made it work. Like, kids will adapt. Kids will nap at some other time, but this was just such a focused and beautiful 10-week period where we were able to focus on our personal relationships with God and our relationships with the people in this group and what we're doing to deepen all of that. And I just encourage you guys, like, maybe you're in that survival mode phase, maybe you're sleep deprived, or you have a bunch of things going on in your life or jobs, but this is so crucial and so important, and I guarantee that you will not regret doing it. I know that for us, when it was over, we're like, wow, you know, that was tough, that was a big commitment, but we were so grateful to have had that opportunity, because we felt and we saw how much we grew because of it.